Hey, and welcome to a mod that poses the simple question, what if all of Doom 2's assets were created in Microsoft Paint? The answer? Well, a charming and quite terrifying version of Doom 2. We'll dive into it here. You can see that the menu assets have been altered to fit the aesthetic. And when we load into the game here, things are looking pretty fun here. The pistol looks a lot simpler, the textures look very much Paint inspired, and having a look around, it has a similar but very kind of different feel to it. The chainsaw there, and here looks very hand-drawn. Loving it. The enemies in this one will face you all the time, but they still behave like they normally would in Doom, so they will still be sort of looking away from you if they're supposed to. An interesting thing here is the way that the enemies are moving. This is very reminiscent of the Super Nintendo version of Doom, where the enemies would kind of shudder from side to side. They didn't really kind of move in the smooth way that they do in the other versions, so that's very evocative of that version of Doom. You can also see when I fire my pistol there, the muzzle flash actually is just one colour in each of the bands. The chainsaw here doing the work. But what I really love about this mod is that the creator's gone out of their way to bring other weapons in from other games. Now, I do not know where all these weapons came from, but I can definitely tell you that this came from Shadow Warrior. So if you're a fan of retro first-person shooters, this has been very lovingly crafted to sort of give you that interpretation. You can see the textures on the floor there have been redrawn. I have no idea where this particular gun comes from. I'm sure people in the comments are going to tell me. I know this crossbow is from Strafe. It's just fun to see all of these Doom assets looking similar, but at the same time having a different sort of spin on them. One of the great things about Doom 2, in my opinion, and Doom overall, is that its look is pretty timeless for me. It's very easy to replicate and simplify, so none of this looks out of place. You can definitely tell that is a shotgun. No idea which game that is from. There are also a lot more weapons in this version, so if you kind of want to have a very different Doom experience, then you can. Some of these weapons look really good to say that they were drawn in Microsoft Paint. Others less so, that arrow there just kind of hanging in the air. The super shotgun here has taken a massive downgrade, which is fine. The shotgun as well, oh honey, what have you done to my boy? But it's not just the weapons and the wall sprites that have been changed, you also get to see the item sprites have been changed, which is really nifty. I'm going to head to a different level here just to sort of give you a chance to see more of the sprites in action. One thing I will say, I do kind of wish that they had gone all the way to changing the sprites of the sky there. It just kind of feels a bit out of place. It would have been cool to just kind of see something really stupid done. Just because, like, the rest of this catches the aesthetic it's aiming for so well. Hate this gun, by the way. But you can see as we're kind of wandering around here, the various interpretations of the Doom 2 sprites and just how they've been kind of recrafted to look a bit sillier, but at the same time, you can tell whoever made this was really having a good time here. These pinkies look absolutely adorable, by the way, I'm not going to lie. Yes, this is from Duke Nukem 3D, this is the Devastator. You can drop it down to one Devastator if you really want to. Not quite sure why you'd want to do that, because the fun of the Devastator is using both at once. Not sure where this is from, but I do kind of like what it does. It fires a little orb, and it's a very powerful explosive. and if it doesn't catch an enemy, it sort of rolls on and just blows up on its own. And of course, this is the rocket launcher we all know and love. That is just amazing. I do appreciate as well that they have tried to make things a bit more interesting by throwing in sound effects, and I think most of these sound effects are from Half-Life, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, someone's going to comment in the chat. Some of these weapons though look great, and then there's ones like this which are kind of middle of the road. This is definitely the plasma rifle. Interesting that it does the sort of reload animation. I can't remember which version of Console Doom does that, but I know one of them actually has that in there. So again, maybe a little nod to that. This is the flamethrower. Oh wow, look at the mancubus. This is a flamethrower, and what's particularly interesting here is that with the modern re-releases of Doom, we have now got ourselves a flamethrower in Doom, so I guess this was kind of foreshadowing for that. So good on this developer for sort of seeing where that was going to go. If you can get this to hit, it's actually pretty powerful. The Caco Demons look adorable again. This looks like the Doom 64 plasma rifle, although it doesn't really behave like it. Oh, that actually does splash damage. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's interesting. We've also got the BFG here. I kind of like how it doesn't have any of the details on the sides, like they just decided, you know, too much effort, which I'm totally on board for. We've also got these spells here. Now, if I'm not wrong, I think these are from Hexen. You can actually use this one to heal yourself. Again, if I've got anything wrong here, I'm sure people in the comments will correct me. I just love the texture style here. It just suits really well. This is an interesting one as well, because when we grab the supercharge here, all these enemies are going to pop up. But you can actually create these sort of little turrets, and what they'll do, they'll just target the enemies until you are done with them. Do my work for me. I'm just going to sit here and watch you do all the hard work. This one's particularly interesting. It actually spawns in these sort of robots. They have the spider mastermind noise. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go into a crowded room just to kind of show you how they work when they're actually dealing with enemies. Of course, we need to grab the yellow key first. They are very loud. You can see that if the enemies get in your face, you're not able to kind of spawn them in. But once you kind of get a bit of space, the enemies will be attacked by my little robot army, and that's pretty cool. But yet there's more enemies. We then have this weapon here, which is completely devastating, and in an enclosed space like this is pretty much begging for it to kill you. But this thing clears rooms like absolutely nothing else, which is... I wanted to move on and just quickly show you some other aspects of this, including the Cyber Demon here, who has been lovingly recreated in Microsoft Paint's glory. You can see that the weapon sort of moves from arm to arm, which I have no idea why it's doing that, but it just is in keeping with everything else that's going on here. If you ever wanted to see Duke Nukem 3D take down a cyber demon, well, there you go. And yes, if you're wondering, you can actually play the Icon of Sin in this style. You can see that the grotesque sort of statues and wall textures have been recreated, as has that, although it does look hilarious, I'm not going to lie. I would have that as my wallpaper in my house. And because I know someone is going to ask, yes, you can play Final Doom in this way. Here is TNT. Not all of the textures are replaced for obvious reasons, but a fair chunk of them are. Even the ones when they're not, they do kind of blend in pretty nicely. The art style of Doom itself lends itself to this kind of overhaul, which is nice to see. There are quite a few textures in Plutonia that are not replaced, so you can see here how that kind of works out. It doesn't really detract from the overall experience, although it does kind of become a bit more noticeable when you're kind of wandering through some of the levels. But it's still very enjoyable in my opinion, the mud texture there. It does make you realise just how many assets get reused from Doom 2 in these Final Doom games. And of course, here come the Revenants. I have thrown the download link in the description, so if people want to give this a try, they can. I don't think this is in active development anymore, unfortunately. It looks like it's been left to sort of wither on the internet, and that's fine. I think a lot of the work that's been done here is pretty fun in itself anyway. This only works on certain source ports, however, so you will need to kind of make sure that you're set up correctly if you want to get this working. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this. Did you like seeing Doom in the style of Microsoft Paint? Let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you so much for watching.